I am live, 30 FPS stable and kbps stable, and it has been 3 days. Yeah, I didn't stream for 3 days. I had my exams in college, and my camera is bad because um, I do not have my phone with me right now, which I use as my camera, and I will have it. Shit, I will have it as soon as I can, maybe tomorrow or the day after. And now I will simply begin. Shit, the live chat is currently unavailable. That is not good. I have to read the chat. Now it is there, and I can just begin with competitive programming. And I did participate in the competition, which was there on Thursday. Today, yeah, I guess it was on Wednesday. Yes, the competition on Wednesday, and I had my I was able to do two questions, and I submitted the third question like 5 times, but it was wrong all the 5 times, and I got a rating of shit. Today also I have a competition, but I will not be participating in that one, and I have a few things to do, and my rating is now 420, something, which is something, but not something that I would want to have. Yes, I can participate and on like unratedly in this today's competition. And now let's begin. And I think I did this one. I did this question yesterday, I guess. This 12th question. Okay, I didn't. Let's see. It broke on test case 3. This is the question, and why did it break? This is my solution, and I have added a few things to my boilerplate for CP. Second differs this, and what was the question? The question was this. Yes, I have to find. Yeah, I have to choose left and right, and then rotate the elements. Pick two integers such that L and R between 1 and n, and any positive number integer k. Repeat this k times, set AL left equals AL plus 1. So they will be shifted from right to left, and the one furthest to the right, which is AR, will become equal to AL. That will come to the front. And what this means is that I can do this operation k number of times. What this means is that if the maximum sum that I can have would be equal to the maximum element minus the minimum element, and that would only be possible if the difference between the maximum's position and the minimum's position, that is specifically maximum minus minimum, is equal to either n minus 1, so that maximum is on the right and minimum is on the left, and in between I would have 1 2 3 4 n minus 2 elements in between, or the sum is equal to -1. That is, the minimum is on the just right adjacent to the maximum, so that I can then would be able to rotate this thing and get the minimum here and the maximum here. But if that is not the case, then I will see whatever is in the front, I will take that and subtract. I will try to at least put the maximum number here and the minimum number here, and whichever sum is the greatest, that would be the answer. And here, while I'm taking the input, first take the number, add it to A, and then what I have to do is, if C is greater than maximum, then put C, maximum equal to C, and also take the index, and do the same with minimum, which is mn, and then difference is maximum minus minimum, which is right here. And then if difference either equals -1 or shit. Yes, or -2. Would it be -2? No, I think it will be -1. Yes, it should be -1. Maximum here and maximum here. The length here is 3, n equals to 3, and minimum here, and maximum minus minimum would be 1, 2. Yes, so just -1. And if that is the case, then I will be able to get maximum on the right and minimum on the left. And right, for each test case, and the maximum value of the last element minus the first element by doing the above operation exactly once, right? And am I able to see? Okay, my goal from now on while solving these questions is not to solve them as fast as I can. My goal is to solve them, first of all, understand them at a meta level, and then solve them. And is yes, my voice is audible. That would have been horrible if I was inaudible this whole time. Yes, that would be the goal, to first understand them and then solve them. Understand them at a meta level. And so what this essentially means is that, yes, analysis is the word that I was looking for each test case. Okay, that is one case in which I would get the maximum. And if that is not the case, then I can take the maximum and put it to the rightmost place, and then take the minimum and or take the minimum and put it to the leftmost place. And while doing that, when I have put it maximum, when I have put maximum on to the right, to the end of the array, and some number which was already the first, if their difference is greater than the difference between the original number at the end and the minimum number which I have put at the start, whichever is the maximum, I will return that. And which is this, back minus minimum, which is the original number at back minus minimum, and then the maximum minus the first number. And this apparently is wrong in test case 3. And we will have to look into that, why that is wrong in that particular case. I think the implementation is good. It is lagging. Not is fine. I think the implementation is good. There is no implementation is not good. That is why I'm getting the wrong answer. It is wrong in the second case. Second, this one. Spell it wrong. Let's see. This. Shit. Quite a long list of numbers. Shit. I can put them on the next line. Right. And here, my minimum would be equal to 73 till now. And is there a number which is smaller than 73? Yes, 18. 18 is the minimum, and the maximum is 964 till now. And something bigger than that. 964 seems to be it. 979. Max equals 979. And when I have that, the maximum difference would be the difference between these things, which is 961. And the difference between their positions is not such in which I would be able to put them at the first, the minimum at the first and the maximum at the end. So what I have to do is maybe put the maximum at the end, and that is the maximum is here. Put this number 979 at the end, and then the difference would be 979 minus 195, which is equal to 4 there, and 8 and 7 7 784. Or I could put the minimum, which is this, at the end, and that would make the difference equal to 759 minus 18, which is equal to 741. So this one would be preferable, 784, and my answer is 784, but their answer is 891. And how would they be able to achieve something like that? 891 is their answer. 891. 891. Is there a way by which you can put the maximum number to the wait, shit, yes, you could have this number, this 88, at the start, and then the difference would be equal to 891. That does make sense. That does make sense. Okay, right. That does make sense, right? Yep. So what this means is when I am putting maximum on the right, then there would be three possible numbers which could be there if I am doing that. First, the number that is n places, n minus 1 places to the right of it, and the second number, wait, n minus 1 places to the right of it only means that one place to oh, n minus 1 places to the right, n minus 1 places to the left means one place to the right. So yeah, so this just one number like this, or the original number that is already there. So okay. So instead of this, I have the index for the maximum and the minimum, right? So what I can do now is see which sum is maximum. Okay, so I will have four sums in total. First is the sum between the maximum and the number to the right of it, and then the sum is between the maximum. The difference is between the maximum and the original first number, and then there is the sum between the minimum and the original number at the end, and then the minimum bit and the number to the left of it. Number to the left of it? Yes, number to the left of it. So if I am putting maximum on the right, let's see, let's call that int max diff, and initially that is equal to 0. And then if I put maximum to the right, then max diff, right? Or there could be edge cases. What if maximum is already to the right? In that case, I'll have to see something. Yes, if max mxi is not equal to n minus 1, that is, it is not to the right, then I will see max diff equals maximum of mx minus the number to the right of it, which is equal to a into mxi plus 1, to get the number to the right of it. Maximum of this difference, or maximum minus the first number in a, right? If maximum is not the rightmost number, otherwise if it is, then at this point when max diff is 0, then max diff just becomes equal to mx minus a 0, since I won't be able to put put the number to the right of it, because there is no number to the right of it. The number to the right of it is already at the start. Okay, if that is the case, then if m n I equal or not equals to 0, that is mni is not equal to 0. Yes, mni is not equal to 0, that is the minimum number is not already the first number. In that case, max diff equals max can have maximum of multiple numbers at the start. I think I can. 1 2 3. Okay, int is not a function or function of okay. Okay. What I have to do is maximum of the already max diff, or let's see, maximum here, which would be equal to the number at the end, which is this, back minus the number at the start, which is the which is no, mn, minimum number, right? And otherwise the max, the number to the left of this thing, a m and I minus 1 minus the minimum number, and after that max diff equals maximum. Hey, shit, I cannot lose max diff. Yes, shit, I have to find maximum among three things. How to, I can use max function twice or something else, or do or can I use max twice inside maximum of this, and then max of max diff comma whatever this returns. That does work, but let's see how to find max of three numbers in C++. Let's see. If else, that is one option. Use max, but I cannot give it three numbers, can but I can use it twice. That is cool. Maximum with the initializer. Okay, max with the initializer list. That is cool. And right, this and and this and that goes there. Max with the initializer list. That is cool. And in the else, I will have max diff maximum of max diff, and I already have maximum diff and the minimum number is already at the start, so a dot back minus mn minimum. Now max diff should be equal to whatever you want it to, should be equal to the right value. Okay, that does work. Well, for this case, okay, I am taking the maximum, putting it at the end, and yes, in both the cases, I am at least putting the maximum at the end or putting the minimum at the end. And yes, that does make sense. Let's see if it works. If this works, that would be cool. And yeah, I have to change my approach of approaching these questions, and I have to, well, at least while I'm learning these things, I have to have a meta level idea of what I'm trying to do, and not just some small level tactical details. Mm, shit. I think it should not be wrong on the one that was wrong before. Seventh, that is fine. which I cannot even see. Wrong answer on 7th, different, expected this, found this. Okay, there's something that I am missing. Either I put the maximum to the right, and I can do that in two ways, right? Put just take the maximum. If I have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now, what I can do, there are a couple of ways to, let's say this is my maximum, and I can just say that, like, I will write it like this. A, wait, this Excalibur thing, I can think it in my mind because I will not get Excalibur while I'm doing competitive programming. So in my mind, I have arrays, I have the maximum element and the minimum element, and yes, the only way that I would be able to put the max, yeah, yeah, that would be one way. If the minimum is just to the right of it, or the maximum is just to the left of the minimum, or other way would be something like, alright, right, I either move this thing like that, or I move this thing to the back and like that, right? And yes, this is there. I do that. Yes, that does make sense. If that is there and minimum is there, maximum there. What if, what if one of them is already at the end? Yes, that is one case that I didn't consider. Right, what if either maximum or minimum is already at the end? Right, that does make sense. And if mxi equals n minus 1, right, then I have one thing to do, something to do. And right, if either that or mni equals 0. If that is the case, I can just see out mx minus mn with the new line, and else all of this. Shit. Else all of this. So if B, is it working in this case? It is working in this case. It should work in other cases too. Let's see if I have missed anything. Yes, wrong answer on test 3. Fuck. Is it on the same number on the seventh one? All right, and on the seventh one. So there is something else that I'm missing. Either that is the case, MNI is already at the start, or MXI is already at the end, then the maximum difference would be maximum. Okay, no matter what number I have at the start, I can put my maximum at the right end and I will get the maximum difference possible in that case. Or yeah, or I can move whatever is at the start. In that case, I will get the number that was to the right of maximum and see if that difference is minimum or not. And I can do the same with this. Yes, there are two ways to take minimum to the end. Okay, yes, either that or either that. And I am considering both of those cases. Am I right? And if mxi maximum is at the end or minimum is at the start, then just put out maximum minus minimum and new line. Otherwise, see if mxi is not equal to the end thing. If mxi is not maximum is not at the end, that is, I do have some number that is to the right of the maximum number, and I can put maximum to the right in two ways, either by just shifting yeah, in two ways, and one way would result in the original number at the start being still at the start, and the other would result in the number to the right of the maximum coming to the start, and I am seeing what is the maximum. Yes, maximum minus the number to the right end, or maximum minus the original number to the right. And if that is not the case, I do not have a number to the right, then max difference till this point would be equal to the maximum minus the original number to the right, which is, wait, instead of this I can just say max. Wait, if that is the case, it is already to the right, then wait, shit, I do not have to check it. If it is not, yes, because I have already checked it here, so I know for a fact that it is not to the right, and I do not even have to check this. So maximum difference of maximum minus the one at the start, and then maximum maximum minus the one to its right, and maximum minus the one at the start, or start selection. This start selection, or v inside this delete and paste, and I can simply maximum would be equal to uh, maximum difference, which is just shit. I can remove that. Maximum would be equal to the one at the back minus the minimum, or the one to the left of minimum minus the minimum, or maximum minus the one to its right, and maximum minus the one to its right. Yes, makes sense. And maximum minus the original one at the start. Shit. Or if either one of them is already at the start, then that shit, it should work. Uh, Essentially, I have not changed anything. Let's see. I think it will still break, yes. And I guess it has broken on the same thing that it broke on the last time. Yes. Okay, so I will be leaving this question for now, and I will try to do this whenever, like later or something. For now, let's move on to the next question. Uh, yeah, here. Let's see. For a collection of integers, s define max is a function, max s is a function as the smallest non-negative integer that does not appear as the smallest non-negative integer that does not appear in s. Okay, nit, clever the cleverer decides to destroy the universe. He is not so powerful as Thanos, so he can only destroy the universe by snapping his fingers several times. The universe can be represented as a one-indexed array A of length n, and I'll be right back. Wait a minute. I'm back with my mic back. And yeah, for a collection of strings. And yes, the universe can be represented as a one indexed array A of length n. When NIT snaps his fingers, he does the following operations on the array. He selects positive integer L and R such that they are between n, and let the omega equals this from left to right. Okay, then for all LIR set, okay, for all these numbers set AI equal to omega, okay, we say that the universe is destroyed if and only if for all this AI equals 0 holds. Okay, find the minimum number of times NIT needs to snap his fingers to destroy the universe. That is, find the minimum number of operations NIT needs to perform to make all the elements in the array equal to 0. Non-negative smallest element. Smallest non-negative element. In this, the answer would be 0. And okay, so uh, the answer is at max going to be equal to 2, because if I have a 0, right, that would be the only case in which my array does not equal to 0. So I just have to find the index of 0, and if there are some elements to the left of 0 then and to the right, then we would see, okay, right. But if I have multiple zeros throughout, that is also one case. Shit, yes, makes sense. And what is the maximum value of AI? 10 to the power 9, and I guess integer would be cool with that. It is guaranteed that the sum of n in all test cases does not exceed 2 into 10 power 5. Sum. Okay. So is there a reason that they are pointing that out? That is specific. Point out. Okay, so I just have to see. Yeah, I will start from the start. I do not even have to have any state. See a number if it is, and at the start I will start with the counter and state variable, and in the initially I will put it equal to true, and when if I encounter a 0 and if my state is true, true means that I have been encountering zeros, and if I encounter a 0 and my state is true, then I will just move on without doing any change. And whenever I find an integer and my state is equal to true, then I will increase my counter by 1 and make my state equal to false. And then when I encounter a 0 and my state is false, then I'll just change my state to true, and I will keep on doing that. Yes, that is cool. CPP, BLB, boilerplate, and 7. And what is the type of input? Okay, int n, right? Int n, and while n minus minus, and count, and s for its state. And s, let's have a boolean. That would be cool. Bool s equals true initial, and wait, c is for count, and let's say cnt for count, and cn equals c, and if c equals 0, then one case, and else else another case, and if c equals 0, then I have to see my state. If s, if it is true, then I don't actually have to do anything, and if it is not true, that is if my state is false, then that means that I have come from integer to this, so all I have to do is s equals true, and in else case, if s, that is if state true and c is not equal to 0, that is I have encountered an integer. So first state equals false. I'm not no longer in a string of zeros, and second state is false, and second count increase by 1, and initially count is equal to 0. And I think at the end I just have to output CNT, which only means count and nothing else. If we run, and that is the correct answer. Let's see, the name of the question is B int destroys the universe. B int destroys the universe. Submit, and let's see. I think it should work. Wrong answer on test 2. Okay, something wrong with the implementation, I guess. On third, expected 2 found 3. You should, yeah, you should be able to find 3 if that is the case. On test 2, they found 3, and test 2 is not visible actually. It has 187 zeros. And what was the answer for the first one? First one was 0. That is good. Wait, on test 3, third number. Okay, and so third number, I don't even know how much I got. Okay, but yeah, maybe I can set. Nope, 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 nope. I cannot see what the third case is. But the actual answer. Okay, answer is this. My answers are going way higher than this. Why? And the first one, that is to third one, I got 3. My answers are going way higher than they should be going. Verdict is wrong. Okay, the only time that I am increasing the counter is this. I can make this 0, that 0, and shit. No shit. I have left and right. This does this, and AI all become equal to omega. We say everything is destroyed if all AI becomes equal to 0. And if I have a island of integers, of non-zero integers, then to make them equal to 0, then I would have to do that. Yes, shit. If C is not equal to 0, then that means I'm encountering some 0. Okay, if it is true, should I? Yeah, I guess I misimplemented it. If it is true, then this, and if false, I also need to have false. And if false, then do nothing. If false, yeah, then do nothing. If false, yes, if I have encountered a non-zero integer and my state is false, that is, I am not in a string of zeros, then this is true. Maybe let me implement it the wrong way around. Initially, I will suppose that I am S would mean I am in a island of integers. And initially, I would suppose that I'm not in an island of integers. If the current thing is a 0, and if the state is true, that is, I have been in an island of integers, that would be wrong then. Shit. The universe can be represented like that. When NIT snaps his finger, MXI, smallest non-negative integer that does not appear in a small collection of integers as NIT the cleverer. The cleverer decides to destroy the universe. He is not so powerful as Thanos, so he can only snapping his fingers. The universe can be represented as a one index array A of length n. When NIT snaps his fingers, he does the following operations on the array. He selects positive integers L and R such that this and that, let omega equals mix from left to right, and yes, put them in the function mix, and whatever it is the answer, put all the elements equal to that thing. So what this means is to make an island of integers equal to 0, equal to 0, then I would have to do this thing for every island of integers. Shit. Yes, I would have to do this thing for every island of integers, and if there are multiple islands of zeros, then I would have to do it multiple times, right? Yes, I would have to do it multiple times. To make them equal to 0, he selects positive integers L and R such that they are between L and R, okay, and it is guaranteed the sum of, okay, over this line, okay. Find the minimum number of times NIT needs to snap his fingers to destroy the universe. That is, find the minimum number of operations NIT needs to destroy to make all the elements in the array equal to 0. To do that, he has to go to each integer island and turn them equal to 0. Yes, that would be the only case. And yep, yes, that would be the answer. And yeah, yes, that does make sense. And s is initially equal to true, and true means I have been in a string of zeros, and then I take the next number and cn. Yes, I am doing things correctly. Cn, and initially cnt equals 0, and I take the new number. If it is equal to 0, then, and if state is false, then I can put it equal to true, and else if the current thing is not equal to 0, if the current thing is not equal to 0, that is I do have, so either it could be a number that is at the start of my island, and I have been in a island in a sea of zeros, or it is in the middle of an island and I have already been in an island of integers. So I'm checking if state is true, that is I have been in a sea of zeros, and if that is the case, then I will put state equals to false, that is I am no longer in a state in a sea of zeros, and I increase count by 1, and at the end I put count outside, and I have messed up a bit somewhere, like where line 26, this one, that's for that, that is for that. And yes, there should not be any problem. What is the problem? Expected statement. Mm-hmm. What is the problem? Expected statement, and this 27. If this, then this, right? Else this, and at the end do this. At the end of this, if I have this, and here this, if else inside this else, I have this one if. Okay, if I put this, put one if s, else if I have s, then I do this. That is also cool and faster. That does work. And but the thing is, why is not their answer reaching something more than 2? Why is it 2 at max? That is the question. Running on test 1, it should pass on test 1, but it is failing on test 2. I think a solution is bulletproof, but why? There is some conceptual misunderstanding. Answer is not reaching more than 2. Why is that? Answer is never reaching more than 2. My rating is 420 right now. I just started. Yep. Uh, in this case, 4 is one optimal way is to do the operation L equals 1, R equals 1, right? Right, and in this, the third one optimal way is to doing the operation twice, respectively, with L, R, from 4 to 4, Yes, in this the answer should be 2 because I have two islands of integers, and this it is cool. I have two islands, and in this it should be 1 because I have only one island. That is cool. Shit. Whatever I have this 0 2 3 0 1 2 0 and then some number, then what would happen to make these equal to 0? Then I would have to make the whole island equal to make individual island equal to 0. mm, I cannot. I would have to do the operation thrice, 3 times. mm, mm, yep, I cannot take a 0 that is there. Yes. Yeah, I cannot have 0 in my list of the numbers that I am passing to this max function. So to make every integer equal to 0, I would have to pass only the islands of non-zero integers that I get, and the number of non-zero integer islands I have, it should be the answer, which can be greater than 2, and which it is in some cases, but their answer is not reaching more than 2 due to some reason. Why? There is some conceptual misunderstanding. Do I understand the question correctly? For a collection of integers s, for a collection of integers s, define max s as the smallest non-negative integer that does not appear in s. That does not appear in s, so I cannot have 0 in my max function. And yes, NIT wants to delete the whole universe. The universe can be represented in one indexed array A of length n. When NIT snaps his finger, he does the following operation on the array. He selects positive integers L and R, so that left and right, and omega is the smallest non-negative integer that does not appear in the list, and I want it to be equal to 0. And NIT puts all the numbers in that array equal to whatever was the output of this function. We say that the universe is destroyed if and only if all the numbers are equal to 0. Find the minimum number of times NIT needs to snap his fingers. That should be equal to the number of islands. And I cannot see where my concept of this thing is wrong, and my implementation is also correct. Maybe I have my tutorial. I have not seen the tutorial section for any problem. Let's see how these things are, because for me, I get my solution is that just the number of islands. Let's see, hint how many operations would perform if your solution 2D involves any data structures and is not ON. Please read the solution one. I believe it is very interesting, but to make the difficulty suitable for D, we allowed not solution. Okay, at most 1. Why it can be 2? Suppose we can only perform exactly one operation. In this case, the answer is S maximum. In fact, we can prove this that the answer, this is the answer. Okay. Suppose we can perform operation only one. Okay, exactly once. In this case, the answer is S equals maximum of all the numbers or an arbitrary number z. In fact, we can prove that this is the answer. How many operations will we perform at most? 1. Why? Define ai dash as the value of ai after some operations. Okay, it suffices to prove that the answer will never exceed s. S is the maximum. Okay, note that z will also be always become a submask of itself after any number of operations. So Wait, I cannot even begin to understand this thing. Suppose we can only perform exactly one operation. In this case, the answer is this: maximum of all the elements from 1 to n, or z. What is z? If our solution to D involves any data structure and is not my is O n, and it does not involve any data structure, please read solution 1. I believe it is very interesting, but to make the difficulty suitable for D, we allowed non n solutions. Okay, suppose we can only perform one operation. In this case, the answer is s equals maximum of all the elements in the array, ai or z. I do not know what z is. In fact, let's say, in fact, we can prove that this is the answer. Let's define ai dash as the value of ai after some operations. Okay, wait. Yes, yes. Yes, instead of going to each island individually, one. Okay, if all of them are equal to 0, then we are good to go. And if I do not have a 0 in the middle of the thing, we are good to go. Then we are good to go. We only have to perform one operations with that thing. But if we do have, or we can have zeros in the start and at the end, then would be the case in which we only have to perform this operation maximum one time. That is cool. And if we do not, then I can change the whole length of the array, which would involve zeros in the middle, and it would, the whole array would change to some number and then perform the operation again, and the next time it would become equal to 0. So yes, that is cool. Now initially I am inside true. Yes, right. I can take s equals 0. That is, I am initially inside a list of zeros which are at this start. Right, and now I see this, and if this is true, then we are cool, right? If it is 0, then we don't have to do anything. But if it is not 0, then we would have to see delete inside parentheses, or delete around parentheses. That is cool, right? If it is, if I see a non-zero number, then I have to see what the state is. If s equals 0, then I do s plus plus. Wait, then I do s equals 1. If s was initially 0, that is, I am inside an integer. And now if I see 0, then I would have to do something else. I do see 0, and if s equals 1, that is, I have already been at some integer, then I would put s equals 2. That is cool. And now, right, and if then I see this thing again, if I see some non-zero integer again, then, and s is equal to 2, that is, been I have had zeros at the start, then some non-zero numbers, and then a list of zeros, and then I am seeing this thing. I'm seeing integers again. Then the answer would be equal to 2, right? Then what I can do is just not break out of this thing, but I know the answer is 2 and I just have to finish this thing. So while n minus minus c into c and c into c, and yeah, and just keep doing that, and at the end put n equals 0 so that I can return out of that loop. And yeah, I can just answer the thing afterwards. Here, if s equals 0, then equals 0, then answer is 0, 0, and a new line. You have this, and else if s equals 1, then the answer would be equal to 1. Yep, then the answer would be equal to 1. See out one line like that, and else I can just see out 2 backslash like that. Is there some problem? Doesn't seem so. Let's see. Submit. Wrong answer on test 2. That is something that I didn't expect, and this time I think it should have been correct. Expected 1, found 2 in the second one. Okay, it found 2, but it expected 1. Okay, there is some flaw in the logic here. I take the current number, the first number, and the current number, and I see if it is not equal to 0. I just have to maintain 3 states, right? Yes, and 0. I can have a list of zeros at the start, right? And if that is, then I do nothing and I just move. Is my thing doing that? Else, yes, my thing is doing that. Shit, I'm going into this every time. Shit, so that is wrong. If s equals 1, then s equals 2. That, but I don't think there is much difference between the one that I wrote before and now. Else I will go into this and see if si is equal to 1, right, which I will see and find out that it is not. And then I might encounter at the start a list of non-negative numbers, non-zero numbers, and whenever I see that, I do this. I go here, and after seeing a list of non-negative numbers, I check is s equals 0. That is, I have not been inside any numbers till now, non-zero numbers, and if that is the case, then I put s equals 1. That is, I am in one non-zero number now. List of non-zero numbers now, and else if s equals 2, that is, I have been in a situation where I encountered another 0, and then I encountered 1, 2, right, and then I encountered another list of non-zero numbers. If that is the case, then I know that the answer would be equal to 2, and I can just take in, finish the thing and go there. Might be messing up. At least my answer is not going above 2. Yep, my answer is not going above 2. I have 1, 1, 2, 2. That is the answer. And shit. 0, 1, 2, 2, 1. 0 should have been 1, 2, 2, 1 should have been the thing, but okay, it is mostly being 2. I think it is because I'm not ending this thing well. Uh, say I am the value of n is 5 and I have gone through 3 elements, then how many are remaining? There are remaining. This should work. Take in Cn and at the end put n equals 0 so that when I get to this loop, this one also finishes, and this should work. This is to get out of the loop. If n is 2 and if n is 0 also at the end. Wait, I'm getting the correct answer for this one test case, and I would like to see what the value of s is at the start, at the end of this thing. Mm, The value of s is equal to 2 because I'm getting the right answer here. S is equal to 2. Wait, shit, I can just put out the value of s here instead of checking like that. See out s. So if we run and school, shit, if it was equal to that, and then I see some non-zero numbers, I put it equal to 1, and then shit, this is not working due to some reason. While this while inside should also work. This should also be fine. Mm, I'm putting n equals 0 and then this should have worked, but it is not working. Mm, I'm doing this. I think this part I'm doing right. This should be working. And if c is not equal to 0, I'm getting a non-zero number. Then I'm checking if s is 0, that is this the first time that I have encountered a non-zero number? And if it is, then I put s equals 1, that is I have to do the operation at least once. And if s equals 2, that is I already had to do operation twice, then I will not do it more than 2. Wait, I can just use my earlier approach of finding the number of islands. Shit. Just my earlier approach. Shit, I have spent quite a few minutes on this one. And this was my first approach of finding the number of islands, and if the number of islands is 0, then we are cool, we can put out 0. If it is equal to 1, then we are cool, we can put out 1. And if it is greater than that, if it is 2 or greater than that, then I will have to put it, I can put out 2. This thing greater than equal to 0 question mark. If it is, then put out 2, otherwise put out pnt. Run test. Yes. Should work this time. Shit. It's called paint destroys. Shit, this was actually simple. If this is the correct answer, I think this time I will get it accepted. Yes, it says accepted here. So we are cool. Shit, I should have been able to do this faster. This was pretty easy. This, yeah, there was a lack of meta level, high level understanding. AV to BUS. It has been 1 hour and I only solved one question and I struggled on solving another one. Spring has come and the management of Evto bus fleet has given the order to replace winter tires with summer tires on all buses. You own a small bus service business and you have just received an order to replace N tires. You know that the bus fleet owns two types of buses with two axles. Two types of buses with two axles. These buses have four wheels and three axles with six wheels. Okay, you don't know how many buses are which type. The F2 bus fleet owns. So you wonder how many bus tires buses the fleet might have. Okay, okay. You have to determine the minimum and maximum number of buses that the fleet in the fleet there can be in the fleet. You know that the total number of you. So this is maths. This is maths. Uh, if I have n tires, so minimum number of tires a bus can have is 4, and if the answer is a multiple of 4, then I take it. Uh, that would be equal to the maximum, and while I'm calculating the minimum, I will take this. Okay, there are 4 n plus 6 plus 6m and equals to n. Uh, 4a plus 6b equals n, and when finding the maximum, the number of buses would be a plus b, and when finding the maximum I have to maximize a and minimize b, and when finding the minimum I have to maximize b and minimize a. And how can I do that? I have to find all the values for a and b. I do not have to find a and b. Let's see. CPP, VLP, color plate, int, and again, I have the number. Now the answer is A and B, and I can take, yes, the minimum number of A, the minimum that A can go is 1, and the maximum that A can go is equal to n by 4, right? And then I will have to see the remainder, but if the remainder does not match up with B, I can only have A and B as integers. So this is a maths problem. Then I have number theory problem, I guess, graph problem. Then I reduce it by 1. To maximize this, right, I see the remainder, the remainder of bus tires. Then I keep adding 4 to that remainder till it becomes equal to 6. But can n be equal to odd? Yes, fucking hell. Yes, if it is odd, then we have to see what the thing is. Print two integers x and y, the minimum and the maximum bus fleet, and if there is no suitable number of buses, then yeah, if n is negative, if n is odd, then I have no answer. So if n remainder 2, if n remainder 2, that is it does remain a remainder 2, then put out -1 at a new line. Else here will be our solution. Input -1, okay, that is cool. And otherwise, yes, I have to get up to an maximum, see the remainder, put it 1 back. Okay, that is a brute force approach, right? That is a brute force approach. That is a brute force approach. What I have to do is put some number b multiply by 6 so that the remainder of the thing k becomes equal to that. Okay, and first I will find the maximum and then I will also have to find the minimum. I have a and I have b. uh, yes, okay, and maximum is initially equal to 0 and minimum is initially equal to n. Okay, okay, first I will find the maximum number, and to find the maximum I have to maximize a, and to maximize a I have to put b in such a way so that let's put b initially equal to 0. That is the maximum n I can have. So b equals 0, and now while b into 6 n remainder with this thing, that is while there is a remainder, what I have to do is b plus plus, and when the remainder becomes no, that is not the thing, minus that thing from n, and whatever the thing is, if it's a remainder with 4, if there is some remainder with 4, then I just increase b by 1, and at the end I will have my b. And yes, so the number of buses I can put mx equals b plus n minus the remaining one number of buses divided by 4, n minus 6 into b, right, and that thing divided by 4. And now a equals the max. I need to now minimize a, so I'll do the thing with a, n minus a into 4, right, and if that thing does successfully have, if that thing does not have a remainder with 6, I will keep doing it, and I will do a plus plus, keep increasing a, and what the fuck is r, it is supposed to be 4, and then at the end I will have minimum equals a plus n minus 4 into b whole thing divided by 6. That will be the minimum number of verses. Now e out mx space mn and then a new line. Okay, minimum comes before and maximum. Okay, shit and shit. Okay, and 64 e. Okay, maybe I can just change this thing there. Type def and 64 e will be int in, and that int 6 int 6 int 6, and these are also supposed to be int 6. Now int 6 do are supposed to be int 6 because n can be int 6 as a maximum 18 years, so I should have seen that before. And yeah, int 6 is cool here. Yes, that, and first I have to output the minimum and then the maximum. Okay, the minimum and then the maximum. Let's see, and it does work this time. Let's see. It is called a f2 bus, and this is pretty easy. It is just maths that I'm not familiar with, and I will now read the tutorial after this when I get this correct. Okay, is that correct? That is the answer, and minus that, it is wrong on the 7th number. expected 92, found 93 in the seventh one, on the seventh one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this. 548, and the seventh one is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the minimum my output is 93. 548 was the number. 548. 548 was the number, and my output is 93, and theirs is 92. 93, and theirs is 92. 92 and 548 minimum, so I have to maximize 6, and if I divide this thing by 6, I get 6 and 9s are, and 1, I get a remainder of 2, so I have to reduce 9 by 1, 90 by 1, and I will have 4 and 2, those are 2 trucks with 4 tires and 90 trucks. So answer should be 92. Shit, there is some logical error here. If I have 546, okay, minimum is wrong. Initially I take a equals 0, and then I see this. So a equals 0, and 0 minus n divided by 6, remainder by 6 is would be 2. So I increase a by 1, and then I have 4 minus n. 4 minus n, that is 5. 44 is still not 544. Yes, 544 is still not cool. Answer to should be, yeah, 544 is still not cool. So we go there again and do this. 544 is not divisible by 6, so we increase a by 1 again, and after that a becomes equal to 2, and 548 minus 8 becomes 540, which is divisible by 4 by 6, so we get out of the loop. And mn equals a plus, shit, what the fuck have I done here? Yes, yeah, that is cool. A bug. Okay, and file is already chosen, but I will have to choose it again. A afterwards and submit. And I think there should be a better way to solve this thing. Nah, wrong answer on test 2. Now n minus 4 into a divided by 6, right? And go to the n and put this, right, and in here, n minus 6 into this and divided by 6. It's because I am minimizing the number of 6 that I need. Yes, and b is initially this, and this is initially this. A, B, I'm only using A and B for those things. Shit. This expected minus 1, found 1. If the remainder with 2 is something. Okay, in which case would it be just simply not possible? Even if it is even. Even if it is even, do I have even numbers that are not divisible by 4 and 6? 8 is divisible, 10 is directly divisible, 12 is, so 2 is not. Shit, 2 is not. or n equals to and any other number, I should be able to divide it. 96, yes, from, yeah, because I can have a leap of 2 or a leap of 6. That is cool. Makes sense. That should be correct. Let's see. Message retracted and now it is accepted. That is cool. Refresh. Uh, Shit, sync. I'm clicking on that thing. It is, I don't know what the fuck is wrong. And tutorial, yes. Let's see how better we could have done it. And what even is this page? There's a blog entry, this, okay, wrong force is this. And they have written this afterwards. Author is this. Editorial, there's a thing. It's this time complex. That is the question, and that is just the question. So they have only pasted the, wait, this is the solution. Shit. Let the number of buses be with 2 axes be x and the number of buses with 3 axes be y, then equality this must be true if n is odd. There is no answer because left part of the equality is always even. Now we can divide each part of the equality by 2. Okay, 2n plus 3y, right? Let's maximize the number of buses. Then we should make x as large as possible. So we do this equals n by 2. If n by 2 is even, shit, yes, and this plus 3. Otherwise, in both the cases, the number of buses is n by 2 minimum. Shit. Now let's minimize the number of buses. This is when we are trying to maximize the number of buses. Shit. Shit. That is very elegant. Divide by 2. 2. Yes. Either I go up there, right? If n is even, if n is odd, then I replace 1, 2 by 3. That is cool. Now let's minimize the number of buses. So we should make y as large as possible, right? Uh, it was this. If n by 2 is divisible by 3, if if n mod 3 equals 2, that is I have a remainder of 2, then I just go up there and do this. But if the remainder is 3, and in this case also the number of buses would be equal to n by 2 divided by 3, divided by 3, not ceiling but ceiling. If I have a remainder of, yeah, ceiling. So why do I have this here like this? The royal minimum. Okay, yes, okay, okay, yeah. Here I can, should, this is the ceiling function and this is the floor function, I guess, because this is the floor function and this is the ceiling function. Okay, in this also we are finding the ceiling, and if the remainder is 1, then I replace 1 3 by 2 and add a 2. In all cases the number is this. So also don't forget the case 2, each bus has at least 4 tiles, so there is also no answer, and time complexity is one constant. Fuck, that is like so much better than the one I have written. Right. When there is no solution, those are the cases above, and then if there is a solution, or to find C, it is easy to find the it is easy to find max would be equal to n divided by 2. If that int n divided by 2, I have a number, and n divided by 2 and n divided by 2. Yes, n divided by 2 is cool. Ceiling of n divided by 2. Yes, that is cool. And in the other case, I think it was n divided by 6. N divided by 3, because I'm trying to reach up to, but I'm trying to reach up to n divided by 2. Mm, how many buses am I having? 1 n by 2 is some number, and for each 2 I have one bus, and divided by 2 for each. Shit. 2x, x would be the answer, and if y equals 0 and this is true, then x would be equal to n divided by 4, not n divided by 2. Mm, yes, n divided by 4, that would be the answer, not n divided by 2. Yeah. So is this wrong? N divided by 2. Yeah, I think this is wrong. In both the cases, the answer is n divided by 2 ceiling. Mm, should be divided by 4 ceiling. 4 root, n divided by 4, that is maximum, and minimum I have to find the ceiling, and for that I can do how to find C in C++. I think there is a function like direct function seal flow. Yes, seal C. Yes, shit. C math was already included in the other thing. So what would be the answer here? N divided by 6 should be the answer here. And now we have mn, a bit of space, and then mx, a bit of space, and then new line. If we run, the answer is wrong because, yeah, and it's supposed to be int 6, and this also is supposed to be int 6. Unless, okay, it is wrong in the first one. Why? In the first one, I have 4, and the minimum would be 1, and the maximum would be 1, except when I have 4. When I have 4 of those things, when I have 4, then and minimum would be that, and maximum cannot be equal to this. Okay, this should also be true, but this is not, because this is not float, right? So I can change this to float here, and that would work. And this, shit, is wrong. 16380. Okay, minimum is wrong in this case. Why? Because I turned this thing into a float, which it should already have been. Now that is wrong. Why 6? N is 4. 4 divided by 6 is something something, and the ceiling of that thing should be 1. ceiling n n and m. mm, Ceiling n divided by 6. Ceiling. Maybe the ceiling function that I'm using is not right. From both of them are from C math. Float, double, long, long. Let's say this one takes float. Nah, just seal is cool. That is giving the wrong answer. Shit. Seal and C plus plus. Ceiling function in C plus plus. Let's see some code. I have a few numbers. Ceiling. Yes, I'm putting in a singular number. Ceiling one. These are double. So integer divided by integer. Say ceiling. So for all this, I am putting in. Yeah, shit. Ceiling of this should be -2. Yes, it is -2. N divided by 6 when n is equal to 4. Then also this should return. Yes, shit. I'm just gonna convert that thing into 4. Shit, yeah. So, okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Now it should be faster. And this is wrong. Yep, this is wrong. This one is supposed to be n. In both cases, the number of buses is not this. The number of bus is n divided by 4, and in this case, the number of buses ceiling of n divided by 6. So there is a mistake in this one. Let's see, is this working for all the numbers? I think it should. Submitted. Okay, it is still running and accepted. Cool. That is cool. That is cool. That is cool. Are you and how was I able? Not I, but how did that person was able to do this? By using number theory, the person optimized the solution, and that is cool. Yo, hello, and that is cool. 6, 7. This thing does not update. Okay, now it is working. Make it increasing. Yes, to maybe summarize or give you what I have been, or the changes I have made, it is that instead of increasing the number of questions that I'm doing per day, I am going to spend some time and try to analyze the underlying problem and the concepts which I can use to solve these things. And side by side, I am reading this thing, Competitive Programmer's Handbook, and I have changed my boilerplate code. Let me show you. Go there, select this, and PLP. This is my boilerplate code now. And there is change that I would like to make to my boilerplate. Add one more thing here, a new type def in 64p would be called int 6. And is there some other thing that I would like to add? Nope, this is cool. Close and there is update in lazy. Update everything. Click on this again. CP. Ah, shit, it opened there. This one, yeah. Actually, okay. And now for this problem, what do I have? Given n integers a1 to an, you can perform the following operations on them. Select an element ai, okay, any element and divide it by 2. round down. In other words, you can replace any element by the value of floor, where this is the rounding to real number x. Output the minimum number of operations that must be done for a sequence of integers to become strictly increasing. To become strictly increasing, that is for our condition. Okay, strictly increasing. So the next number has to be greater than the last one. Okay, to be satisfied or determine that it is impossible to obtain such a sequence, or determine that it is impossible to obtain such a sequence, note that the elements cannot be swapped. The only possible operation is described above. I can change them individually and cannot swap them or do anything else. Okay, for example, n equals 3 and the sequence is this. Then what I can do here is do operations twice. First, make this equal to, like, this will become equal to 3, and perform the operation here, and then perform the operation once here. So write the number this equals 3, right? And a2 become, the sequence becomes this, and then this is 135. Now it is cool. So okay, on first I have n and then the sequence, and then for each test case, print a single number on a separate line, the minimum number of operations to perform on the sequence to make it strictly increasing. If a strictly increasing sequence cannot be printed, obtain -1. And that would be when I encounter two zeros. Yeah, yeah. In this case, it would not be possible because the maximum that I have is, okay, I can see this just there also. Yep. If the last number that I, okay, so I want to store the array int n and cnn and then n, a vector of integers called a, and repeat less than I. Starting position would be anything, doesn't matter, 0 and n, and then I'd have, and then I would have this thing, yeah, c and take into c and a dot pv push back c, and then work later. Now I want to go from end to right, so we should, here I cannot use that because in both the operations I am increasing. For int I equal to 0, or maybe I can just translate it in that way. Nah, not really. Int I equals n minus 1, and while I is greater than equal to 0, I minus minus, and here, right, do I want to go till the last number? Yes, I want to go to the last number, and I do not have to do anything with the first number, so I'll just remove that. And yes, so if I have to see if ai is greater than or even equal to ai plus 1, the next one, then I have to perform the operation on it. And let me also have a counter, of course, cmp, my counter, which is initially equal to 0, and then here we have this. Then I have to increase the counter by some point, and how much, how much point I will, I can reduce the bigger number to half, and then half. So I have to see how much time bigger that number is to this smaller number. And right, if it is like twice exactly equal to 2, then I have to do it 3 times. But if it is a bit less than 2, then I only have to do it once. If it is a bit less than, more than 2, then I have to do it thrice. So okay, if it is 2, then I will output. If it is n, an integer, then I have to output n plus 1. But if it is not an integer, then I will take its floor. right? Yes, if it is not an integer, then I will take its. Now, if it is not an integer, then shit, right? One. How many times do I have to multiply this number to get that number? Add this number to get that number. I can have remainder and that. Yes. So if it is greater than shit, if that is the case, then I have to reduce it just once, nah, taking the ceiling. And if it is a bit great, more than a half, more than half, then this. So reduce it once, and still it will be greater, and reduce it twice. Okay, and if it is exactly equal to 2, then make it equal to 3, and if it is a bit less than 2, 1, 2, 1/4. I do not want to create a loop, and I should be able to do this. Okay, shit. Okay, I think I would have to make a loop. While AI is, if I can just do this here, while AI is greater than equal to AI plus 1, just do cnt count plus plus, and I think there must be something wrong in this thing. How do I? Yes, this would work, but if I see 0 just 2 times, then things are messed up. Yeah, then things would be messed up. If any number at any point, if any two numbers at any point become equal to 0, then we are done. Then there is no solution. I keep increasing down by 2, and I will checking if ai equals 0 and ai plus 1 equals 0 at any point, then just see out, and then just break with count equals -1, and here I will see out cmp new line, this, run test case, and shit, it does not end. Shit, right, time exceed. Shit. Okay, okay, fuck, I'm not changing the number. Yes, makes sense. If that is, then ai equals ai divided by 2, and okay, that does work. If there is a number 0, okay, I think that should be correct. B, make it 0. Shit. B, wait, not B, make it increasing. B, make it increasing. Submit. Shit, no file choosing. B, make it increasing. Submit. And my BP boilerplate is similar, but it includes uh, LL for long long, and all X for this, and VLL for vector long long. Okay, yes, that makes sense. You could have the need to have a vector with a vector that contains long long, and all X is something that I saw in this book, and the boilerplate macros. It is should be something, well, right here, bruh. No, it is not here. Okay, so I guess I saw it. Well, LL long long, it is here, but the all thing, all X gives X dot begin and X dot end. I think I saw that in someone's solution I was looking at in code forces, and okay, this is accepted. That is cool. And now I will go and look at the tutorial to see if I can improve my solution. And I think I can improve my solution. And I think looking at tutorials is pretty good for analysis and stuff like that. Tutorial, yes. Obviously, the best way to buy food for every pet is to buy maximum possible food for dog and cats, then maximum. And this cats will get no. Wait, what the fuck? Hmm. Right, make it strictly increasing. Okay, this one is A and this one is B. Okay, make it increasing. We will process the elements of the sequence starting from end of the for each uh, element will be divided by 2 unless it is less than this. If at some point it turns out that AI, the next one, is 0, it is impossible to obtain a desired sequence. Yes, so the only optimization that I can have is this. I guess this is fully optimized. And I am curious to see if ChatGPT can optimize it even further. I'm just curious. Or maybe Claude. Claude is better at programming. That is what I have heard. Shit. I have to hide my screen for a bit. Yep. And allow with log in with Google and login. And I'm logged in. That is cool. Yes, directly all X is for sorting since the syntax is sort from begin to end. So all we use is sort all where that yes, and it can be used in functions which take an iterable and air dot begin returns the like sort of pointer to the first element and air dot end returns sort of pointer to the last element, and the iterable, the function that is taking in an iterable, starts from the start and keeps going further and further by adding by pointer arithmetic, adding one to it every time, and then incrementing it by one, and it stops when it sees that the starting has reached the end pointer. It is not exactly a pointer but something similar. It is a pointer object sort of thing, and I would like to add it to my boilerplate too. Not typed it, but define all x, define, wait, shit, how do I define that? Not type def. Yes, shit, yes, it is going to be in type def. Here, no, no, it would be like something like this. X dot begin, comma, x dot end, and all x. Yeah, that is good. Shit, I am actually stupid. Define. Yes, this should work. And shit, where is my code? If we copy this whole thing, Claude, can you make this code faster, more optimized? And what is the question? Question is this. Mhm. And below is the question. Let's see. Prompt engineering. Looking at your code, I can see that the main logic is correct, but there are several optimizations we can make. The current approach works from right to left, which is good, but we can improve efficiency and readability. Okay, optimized strictly increasing sequence. Yes, shit. Cool animation. Performance optimizations. Remove unnecessary vector operations. No need to push back when you know the size beforehand. Yes, yes, I can initialize an array, initialize a vector like this, more efficient. Okay, makes sense. Early termination. Added a break with when operations equals -1 to avoid unnecessary iteration. So wait, I have added a break here. So it will, oh shit, it will only add this outer break, not this inner break. Makes sense. And simplified variable usage. Remove the temporary variable c and read directly into the vector. Yes, that is what I can do. Yes, because now I can do if I am initializing an array with a, yeah, size n. I can remove and do this into a I, and that is one optimization. That is one optimization. This one is another optimization. And here before, yeah, break, and I will have int opt operation initial equals 0. Oh, wait, done initial equals 0, or bool, and done initial equals false, and here I will make it done equals true. And after this, if done, then with three optimizations, and that is performance optimizations, then code quality improvement, cleaner syntax, replace macros with C++ constructors or better readability, better naming, changed solver to solve following common competitive programming conventions. No, I will keep it solver. Modern C++ practices use null pointer instead of 0 for C and I. Okay, let's see. Solve, okay, C and take into an integer vector a, okay, and then taken directly into the array operations initially 0, and process from right to left -2 to till 0, and do this while this, and if at any point this equals this, then operations equals -1, and break this while loop, and operations increase. Okay, this will only break this while loop but not this for loop. Wait, this will end. Okay, he's checking for the operations this and breaking the for loop also early, and then operations. Cool. Sync with the studios. Hey, what? Sync with the studio. Okay, 0 and false are the same thing. And C int I null pointer. Okay, that is something modern C++ thing. Process from right to left. That is what I'm doing. For each element, divide by 2 until it is strictly less than. That is just the algorithm that I have written. Okay, so here I can do this too. Null pointer and change this to false. That is cool. Okay, so the optimizations that I have made in this, that is something I will keep in mind. If I know the size of a vector, then I will initialize it instead of pushing back, and early getting out, early termination, and simplified variable. See, yes, if I have already a vector, then I do not need to push back, and I can read directly into the vector. That is cool. And oh, yes, make it increasing now. Delete if shit, battery is pretty low, and I also have to go to the washroom, so I'll be right back. I'll be right back into I'm back and shit, my headphone. And I can continue now. This is the next question. Deleting detective editing. Okay. Daisy loves playing games with words. Recently, she has been playing the following detective editing word game with Daniel, who was in denial. Daisy picks a word, for example, like this, determined on each game turn. Daniel calls out a letter, for example, E, and Daisy removes the first occurrence of this letter from the word getting determined. Okay, determined. On the next turn, Daniel calls out a letter again, for example, D, and Daisy removes the first occurrence. Determined. They continue with I getting and N and with D. This and now Daniel calls out the letter E. Yeah, and there is no way she can get a word term, and there is no way she can get the word term. Okay, and if they start playing with the word this. Okay, Daisy is curious if she can get the final word of her choice starting from the given initial word by playing this game for 0 or more turns. Your task is to help her figure this out. This should be easy. N test, and each test case consists of two words S and T separated by a space. Each word consists of at least one and at most 30, at least once and at most 30 English upper letters. S is the Daisy's initial word and T is the final word Daisy would like to get at the end of the game. Okay, that is doable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, of course that is doable. I just have to output yes or no. 50-50% chance if I do it randomly. Boilerplate and shit. So that is actually wrong. Type def. Shit, this comes at the start. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, so and and another one here. Shit, okay. I have to make some changes in my settings. Okay, and this will, I guess, be the last question for today, for the day. Keyboard. And yes, I do have Jordan Peterson at my background. Like some things. This is supposed to be escape. Yes, now my caps lock works as my escape key, which is pretty helpful. But shit, it is not working as my escape key. It is pretty helpful when using Vim, so I do not have to go and reach for the escape every time that I want to go into insert mode. Keyboard shortcuts, modifier keys, USB keyboard. Yes. Make it escape. Done. Uh, yep. Okay, what is wrong now? Yeah. Uh, int. No, not int. Just string s and a string t target and cns and t uh, and int s equals e dot size and ripple I 0 s shit s is size, yeah, sz is sx is size and sx is size. And what I have to do is, yeah, I will have two counters actually. First is this, second is this, second is current S, and current S initially is 0. Yes, current starting string is 0. While S bracket is 0, while it is, shit, I have to also have the size of the S string. It's size P and SXS size of S dot size and SXT, and while S size of S, while current S is less than the size of S, and S bracket current S is not equal to the current one in target TI. While that is the case, this to CS plus plus. Yes, keep doing that. CS plus plus. Keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And I will get out. And what would be the case? Right, if any point comes when CS is equal to size of n, that would mean that I was unable to find the thing that I was looking for. So, see out. No. Wait, no, only if CS equals si size of S, and also break the thing. Break, and in here, if I do come out, it yeah, okay, else let's see out. Yes. Nope, nope. Yeah, I need to have another integer. I don't need to have another integer, another state keeper. If CS equal S X S not equal to S X S size of S, then yeah, yes, that will run. See, wrong answer. Okay, count T, then E, R, and M. So why is the answer no? My answer is yes, and I will be able to find yes. I'm gonna say D, and this D will go out, and then I'm gonna say, oh shit, yes, I won't be able to get turn. Fuck. When I find a letter, and that letter should not shit, so I have to start from the end. And I should not be able to see those letters again. Right, fuck. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Mm. So after removing a letter, I should not see it again throughout the string, because I would also have to remove that letter again from the end of the string, and when that happens, first I will remove the one that I actually need. So that is a problem. And but if I do need that other letter too, then that would be a problem too. Okay, so I'm thinking about storing some state to keep track of this thing. But without state, okay, I have to think about this from a meta high level perspective, in which it does make sense. Parallel perspective, that would be TERM, persons, true, TRME, because I can remove the E in the middle. So I have to see, can I remove this letter? Yeah. Um, yeah, if there is a letter, then I need that letter. And I have to determine, is this a letter that I can keep while removing the letters after it? And I can keep this one only if that doesn't seem right. I can keep this letter only if there is, first of all, no occurrence of this letter again, and second, if there is an occurrence of this letter again, then that would be at a place that I want that letter to be. Mhm. Yes, I am going to give it time and think about it because I want to improve. If there is a letter like that. Hmm. Hmm. What can I do in this? Yep, two concurrent views, that is cool, fine. TRME was cool because I can have T and T is not repeated and I am not needing T at any time, but also it would also depend on the sequence. There is not, if I need a letter twice, then I need to have things in the middle. Yep. Okay, I can break it up. Right, go from left. Right, I also have to be aware of the letters on the right. T and go further. Go there, remove all of them. Right, go there. Yes. Okay, and then move on with S. Right, and then if I encounter another E, okay, I have to know, can I remove this thing? Can I remove this thing? And yeah, can I remove this thing? Can I remove this thing? And I will keep doing that. I will keep counter in the target string. Okay, and is that, and what is the length? Length is 30, at most 30, at most 30. So 30 into 30, and 30 into 30 is not much. I can do that. That much leverage I can have. And yes, I can traverse the S string and go from left to right and see, can I keep, do I have to keep this? And if I want to keep this, then that's just cool. And then move on to the next. And I will see letters and I will see, okay, shit, I have to remove this one. And if I have to remove this one, can I remove this one? And to do that, I would have to go back in time, go back in the S string, in the target string, and see, is was this there before? Right, so the size of S and from the starting till the end. Now, and current. Yeah, C is just current. And this. And if S S is the string, and if Si is not equal to the current one in T, current one, then we do something. Else if it is equal to the current one, all I have to do is just increase C1, C plus plus, C plus plus. That is not a reference to anything. And yes, Si and Ct, if they are not equal, then I have to see. Then I, of course, need to remove this Sith element, and to do that I have to see from ti to t0 to tc, do I have this thing? And to do that, I can use the find function. And what is the syntax of the find function? I can just see if t dot find I have to pass in a string and a starting character. I have to find si, and then I will do nothing. But I also want to get some starting thing and some other thing. That is the return type, and position long. That is the starting position on the end. Can I give both the positions? The find function in string C++. Other things about this function: a string and a position, only the starting position, and can I not give the ending position? Like start from here till this point, something like that. Searches for the first occurrence of the string starting from pause. Searches for the first occurrence of the null terminated C string. Null terminated C string is yeah, I can give a C string, C like null terminated string of characters, or a string object, or a character. I guess nope. I'll have to do this thing on my own. Repl j starting at 0, going till C, and if C is not included, that does not matter. I'll repeat, and I see if at any point int np not possible equals 0, and re repl repeatless, and if at any point t bracket j equals s bracket I, then np equals 1, and also np equals 1, and also break. I'll get out of this thing, and by the end, if np equals 1, then we break, we get out this thing, and equals 1, then we do lc out and -1. Yeah, lc out, no. Okay, np is not defined. Okay. Right, and that has to be true for everything. Right, cool. For yeah, yes, and this, that, fixed, go up. Else just increase cy1, keep increasing cy1. Yeah. Okay, second last and that. Second last code. Oh, D does not exist. Okay, if the letter is just literally not there, that is one edge case. Okay, D, O, D, passing everything. Oh, okay, that is cool. N, N was there. This is the N that I want. N was there, I can do that. Right. And my answer is no, but it is A. I need A, and A is not there before. Right. I need this. Right. If it appears twice in that, it is there. But I have to remove this one. I won't be able to remove this one. But yeah, if I do not want this, right, let's say this, this N, I do not want this N here. Wait, I do want this fucking in here. Yeah, ATI one. Donalization. What is D? I want to keep this D, so I increase. See, it goes to O, and I can remove this, all of these. T2 till T. I go till T. This T here. And do I want this? No, no, shit. I have to go till O. And I go till O, and all of these things I was able to remove because they didn't match D there. And I need to keep this O, so I increase by 1, and now currently I would be at N, and I want this N, I want this A, and this L. Can I remove the L? I can remove the L. This I, can I remove the I? I can remove the I. Can this Z? Can I remove the Z? I can remove the Z. This A. Okay. Yes. This is an edge case. Yes, yes, yes. This is an edge case, and also this. Okay. Now for these two, if I pass through the whole thing, and at the end see if this or C is not equal to size of T, right? Uh, C, I'm using C here. Should C is there? SX, okay, fine with SX. If it is not equal to this thing -1, then also no, this should solve this second last one or not. Shit, fuck. Okay, all of these were yes, but now they are not. But it does solve this one. Okay, all of these are not now. No, now. This all at the end. C should be equal to SXT, right? Yeah, so yeah. And now this one, the last that I removed, and the one that I have. Okay, I have to take the second one if I have two concurrent ones, and the ones in the middle I do not need, then that is the case, right? Yes, that is the case. In which case, yes, that is the only case in which I can remove that one and take this occurrence of this letter, right? And I have to keep doing that. Okay, so I will have to update this else case when I am face to face with the one, when I am face to face with the character that I need. Then let me also specify the character that I wait. Yes, 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 I can just check it here. If that one equals to the current one that I want to remove, and I found it before, and and j j minus c, j equals j plus 1 equals c, or not equal to c. That is the difference between the current one and the one I am checking is literally 0. Is literally just 1. Let's see, and there we go. Detective editing. I think today's Yeah, if I am able to do the questions, then for today's contest, then I will submit. But if I am unable to do them, then I will not submit them. Yeah, so yeah, basically I am giving the contest. Because it is at a higher rating. So like Division 1 and 2, D detective editing. D detective editing, this one right here, and it should work, I guess. It has been submitted. Ah, fuck. Okay, fourth one. On, okay, so I'm not going to get the string. I expected yes, but I gave no. And the only case that I'm going no is this. Okay, the difference between the last one and this is that whatever I have that a letter thrice in the T target string, if I have it thrice. Uh, if that is the case, yes, that is the case, then I can have that answer. Yes, and yeah. Mhm. I'm there and we go from the start till the end and we see if that is possible. Uh, I keep on removing characters from the S string and that is cool. Keep removing characters from this string and am I choosing that if that is not equal to the one NTC current string, current character from the target string. If it is not equal, then I see can I remove this and how do I check that? I go from the start till the current one in this J in the target string, and if I encounter this, the one that I want to delete, if I encounter that once in a way that the current string once and also J plus 1 is not equal to C, that is the last the one last. Yeah, that just means I can put take this instead of deleting this character, I can take it. Yeah, put it equal to there. And if I encounter it once again, then I go there and I keep on moving. See that? See that? Yes, yes, yes. If I do encounter E, then I'll take it. A, yeah, and I'll move. Yeah, this should be cool. This should be cool. The size of T is not equal to C. Shit. Hello. Water. I had to give my college exams and that's why I was unable to stream. So 124 hours. 124 seconds. Let's see the tutorial. They have a PDF for this one. Shit. Okay, problem. Okay, I am on D. Detective editing. Yes, this problem can be solved in a straightforward way. The key observation is that the order in which the letters are called out does not matter in this game. Yes. Yes. Yes, okay. We only need to know how many times each letter is called out in order to go from initial word S to T. And so first let us compute the number of occurrences of each letter from A to Z in both S and T. Let's call them SA and ST for each letter A. Okay, using these numbers we can calculate how many times each letter shall be called in order to get a chance of getting to T. Yes, okay. For A, and if for any letter A, then the answer is no. Occurrences in A minus T is Listen, yeah, answer is no. Okay, otherwise there is a chance for a positive answer or a positive answer. However, we need to verify that the order of the letters is indeed correct. The easy way to verify it is to stimulate the game, dropping the first S minus T occurrence of each letter and then compare the result with T. Hmm. Yes. Shit. That is not optimized. I think mine is better optimized, and it is also not using states to save things like SA and TA. So mine I think is better, but it is like wrong at some due to some reason it is wrong at some place. S60 size of T and size of S and current starting at 0. I'm reversing through S, and at every string I'm saying, do I want to keep this or not, and comparing it with that, with the target, mm, and comparing it with the target and the current one at the target. Yeah. uh, the first one and the target, it has to be at some point there. Okay, remove all the ones before that or keep it. And if I do see a match, then do that. Okay, do that. Okay, count remains where it was. Yes, and go further, go beyond. Shit, and keep that or that. I need to remove that. Let's see. I go there. Shit. Think this is correct and should work, but it is not. Shit. Hmm. Okay. Mhm. We, I can ask Chat GPT, but that would be cheating, and I will not do that. But I can do that because I have the logic. I'm just unable to see where this is wrong. So yeah, I don't think this is cheating, and I am the one who defines what is cheating and what is not. Let's learn. So, um, this is my solution to a to the question below, and this is giving wrong answers for some test cases. And don't give me the correct code, just point out if there is some implementation error. Oh, shit, no, I can check that on my own. St string, I'm taking both the strings, and size of S and size of target and size of the starting string, and currently starting I C is 0, current one and the starting is 0, and NP that is not possible is initially equal to 0, and a repeat I starting from 0 till the size of S, so that I go till the end of S, and that is to traverse S. And if the current in S is not equal to C, then I want to remove this one currently, yes, and then I go from the start to the current one in T, and if I encounter in T this letter, and I know that I want to remove this one that I currently am on, then it is not possible. Or wait, it's not even, yeah, G plus. And this is only the case when the letter that I am wanting to remove, I can instead remove that, I can remove this one. Yes, or remove. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. That does make sense. Either it is the one before, or the one before, or the one before. Right, if this case is encountered, then I want, wait, it would only be not possible if, now, now, I want to have another loop inside. I want to see from J till J less than C, while J less than C. J plus plus, while J is less than C. Do this, just increase J first of all, and second, not this, that is the wrong condition. Increase J so that I am at the next place. And do that. What I'm checking for is J, target J is not equal to Si, the current element. Target J is not equal to the current element that I want to remove. Which it initially is not. So J will be increased by 1. And therefore, at the end, the thing, so J will only increase when that is the case, right? And J will keep on increasing, increasing. And J less than equal to C. Equal to C. Less than C. It is equal to less than C. And the point that I get out will be the point that, with I have to get my imagination correct. J plus plus Si, and I'm going to J less than C. So what I want is there's this array, then there is this array, and this array, there is array, this. Right, if I do encounter a element before which I want to delete, and then I want to check if it is similar. Yes, I move on, increase J by 1. Is this similar? Nope. And nope, I know that the current element is not equal to J, so it will end at that point. But if there is an element which is there, yes, now if at the end J is not equal to C minus 1, yes, not C minus 1, but why the fuck am I even going? Yeah, C, shit, yes, C is the one. If J is not equal to C minus 1, then do this thing, right? Get out of this, get out of reflow. Yes. D detective editing. Let's see. I didn't go there, so that is cool. I didn't ask Claude. Now it should work, I think. Wrong answer again. Is it on the same one? It's same. So that was not the problem, the one that I was thinking. Okay, let's move. Still checking. I'm checking it from the start till the end. And this is not a problem because There is rarely, there is not any word in English language which has three consecutive characters which are same. There are words with two consecutive same characters, but not with three. Then, right after this, can I remove this one? I see. God, go there, go there, go there, go there, go there. Yes, if it was the last one, then I cannot remove it. I said no when actually the answer was yes. Before this thing made NP equals 1. That is, I cannot remove this current letter due to some reason. Why going from there to there? Mm, can I there? Go back, 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 back. Shit. Think I'll have to go to cloud. Implementation error. Code I can identify several implementation issues. Shit. Yes. Missing a comma. Okay. Logical flaw in character matching. A condition if we and this not equal to C. Same file that's is not equal, this logic doesn't correctly handle the case where you might have already seen a character T in T earlier in T that you are now encountering again in S. That you are now encountering again in S. Okay, the current character that is SI, and I'm checking it with SI. Incomplete subsequence algorithm only checks if character appears order, out of order, but it doesn't properly verify that S can be formed as a sequence of T. The variable C transfers T logic or when to increment it and when to flag, and P doesn't correctly handle all these. It keeps handling the same character appears multiple times in T. That is handled. That is the I'll keep this. If I want to keep it, then I keep it. But if then I would have to remove it from the start. I think I have not given Claude the question, and that is causing the problem. This is the question, this whole thing. This is the question. Hmm. I think while this is appearing again, then I want to remove this. The only case that I would not want to remove this is the case in which I can remove the earlier one, and I can only remove the earlier one. it is the second last in the there someplace before. If it is, I cannot remove this then. I cannot remove this. If it is coming before or after that is not known. And then that one and this instead, and that wouldn't matter. Right, right. I see the actual wrong direction. You are iterating S through S and trying to match it with T, but the problem is deleting characters from S to get T. This means T should be a subsequence of S, not the other way around. Incorrect subsequence logic. Nope, it is correct. Your current approach checks if S can be formed from T, but you need to check if overcomplicated logic. The problem is actually simpler than your current approach. You just need to check if every character in T appears in S in the same order. But which is standard subsequence checking. Iterate through S initial word for each character in S. Check if it matches the current character. Well, right, if it matches, move to the next character in T. At the end, check if you have matched all characters in T. Okay, but I have to. The fact is that I can only remove the first appearances of characters and of first appearances of characters, and if I encounter a character in S which I have to remove, but I have but it is all but it also it has already appeared in T once, so once, so in order to remove this character in S, I have to first remove the one which appeared earlier and that which appeared earlier and that would mess up the sequence. For example, I think it was in this donation, fourth one shit fourth days. It was in code. Then no, code doesn't appear. It was in do. No. I said no, right? What would be the edge case according to me? That would mess up the sequence. S, let's say S is equal to something and T equals to something. Okay, what are the no ones? This is no and TRM. Yeah, I want to remove this E, but I cannot. Yeah, this is the case. What's the sequence here? Let's see. You are absolutely. I misunderstood your logic initially. You are correctly identifying that if has already appeared in S earlier in T, then removing it would require removing the earlier occurrence first. Looking at your code again, I can see a few implementation issues. Boundary checking missing. You are not checking if C goes out of bounds. C reaches before you finish proceeding, but that is not the error that I am getting. Repeat. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. I'll do this. And if at any point C becomes equal to size x z size no, no, no. It has to be exactly equal to that. Mhm. Uh, if it is completed, I have to go through the whole thing. Yep. Nope. That one is fine. Loop continuation issue final condition is correct, but make sure C does not exceed during it. That is not the error that I'm facing. Loop issue when you find a problematic character, you break out of the inner loop but continue with the loop. You should probably break out of the outer loop. I am breaking out of the outer loop here. Entirely, I've already determined. Here I am bringing out of the outer loop. This one. Shit. Okay, I will look into this later, I guess. And for now, this will be the end of the stream. Hmm. Later, 4 o'clock. That is fine. I'll look into it. I'll ask a friend of mine. He knows CP. Refresh. He has 1400 rating, and I guess that is cool. Make it shit. It didn't become green. It did become green now. I was only able to do 3 questions in more than 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. Shit, but that is fine. I am, I guess, improving. It takes time. That will be it for the stream, and bye.